relationships, or the subject of like having a quality relationship versus quantity. Like when you're young, right? Like when you think about like you're growing up,
bunch of friends.
You just have a big group, or you want to be a part of a big group, and there's just so many people to befriend, and as you grow through life,
it gets shorter and
the quality just is, you really zero in on that. So I know that during the pandemic, we've talked about it. We obviously have a quality relationship, not just as sisters, but as best friends. And, not everybody has that, and that's something to acknowledge. So I think it's really awesome. And it goes along with our flow and our vibes of gratitude that we always talk about, too. Just talk about that you don't always have to have a lot of people in your circle. But if you have at least one who's a quality relationship, then you're really lucky.
Yeah, I think that we're lucky just from years and years of having friends. And we were people that, growing up, and I'm not, rubbing our noses at anybody.
I'm like, what is she going to say?
No, seriously. We were on the upper end of knowing a lot of people. Even if we weren't like best friends with a lot of people growing up, in high school we knew a lot of people. We were involved in different groups, both of us separately.
But it's also where we lived. Like there's a lot of eggs to pick from, so to speak.
Yeah, but it's not, that doesn't always mean, when going back to what you're saying, quality over quantity, at some point we did have there was a higher quantity of people that were in our lives that we were around. In high school, obviously you're around so many people. Yeah. And when you get older, it just fades a little bit. So I was just saying that we didn't come from a place where we always had like a small circle. No. We were surrounded by a lot of people. Yeah. And I found myself wanting to get away from that. Yeah. And wanting to get away from, the bubble that is, where we grew up. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing to do with the specific people. It's just me growing as a person, you growing as a person, and I'll let you speak for yourself. But I agree with you, and I say this all the time, that as I grow older, and as much of a social butterfly, quote unquote, I want to be less social with like a bigger amount of people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm picky, choosy about who I surround myself with, obviously because of the pandemic as well. Yeah. But I just see myself just not wanting to put in an effort, and not in a negative way. Yeah. Just kind of gearing more towards, okay, who's making me a better person? Who do I feel, is going to... If you hear Rosie in the background, she's a little thirsty.
Rosie's always like our DJ in the background, just making noise. So she's just chugging.
Just little ad libs. No, but back what I was saying, I feel myself feeling that, and I know that you've told me that before, and a lot of your experience I experience on my own terms and in my own way. But it's something that I'm coming to see more and more as I get older.
What would you say the number one trait you look for in something you define as a quality friendship? What would be the number one trait that you think that you subconsciously look for? If they're a party gal?
No.
Or a party boy?
I really always look for somebody, and it doesn't have to be this, but it's just the first thing that came to my head. I always look for somebody that I can mesh with on a humor level. Mm-hmm. I love, or somebody that thinks I'm funny too. And I feel like selfish saying that. But no, I like the humor aspect of things. Sarcasm is huge. Yeah. But also just kind of genuine and loyal to the fact of we don't need to have known each other for 7 years for me to understand that you're a good person.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And we've found that in, one of my really good friends from who we met in Sea Isle. Yeah. And I've known her for 2 years now. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
She should be your human highlights.
Yeah. I'll save it for the end, but I'm just bringing it up. But she is a huge aspect of what we're talking about today. Yeah. So just genuine, loyal, but can kind of vibe. And this is a huge thing too. Somebody that you can bring around your family and not feel awkward leaving the room. Yes. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
Can someone just carry a conversation, or are we just scared of everybody
to feel like you have to babysit a friend or a boyfriend for that matter? Yeah. Or girlfriend or whoever.
Yeah, anybody
what
that you're
a nightmare if you're close with your family or even with your friends to feel like you have to babysit someone. Yeah. I'm sorry. We can't be friends anymore. If I have to babysit you, I don't know about the quality.
No. And it's just, it comes in waves for sure. Like it depends on the person, other things that they can bring to the table.
I'm just being an ICB. Don't worry.
No, I agree with you. I'm just thinking about certain things, but I agree with you for the most part because we're so self-sufficient in that era that like you can throw us in like a room of people and we'll be good.
And you would immediately regret it because we'd talk to everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are definitely my first quality is definitely the humor aspect and being comfortable around anybody, not feeling uncomfortable bringing someone somewhere because they're going to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, no,
self-sufficient.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you feel the same way, or are there other qualities that you could add?
I do feel similarly. If I had to pick like a number one trait that I but that I like, if you can tell pretty fast if this is there or not.
Sure.
Is someone who just doesn't always talk one way, right? Like it's a two-way relationship.
Sure.
Like, you ask how they're doing, they ask how you're doing, you can vent for an hour about your stuff, and then, they get to vent for theirs, but someone who just always isn't, like, just dumping their stuff on you, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it should be a two-way, like, them checking in on you. So it has to do with the checking in aspect. Like, some people are really good at checking in. A lot of people aren't, just because life is crazy.
Yeah, everybody has their own stuff, but
the whole checking in aspect really relates back to the having a two-way street relationship.
Sure.
And not saying that you're like some people are, sometimes the balance is a little off, but just to know that it's there and like it can find its balance again is huge.
Yeah.
I hate the one-way relationships. They're just not, they're surface level for me.
Yeah.
Where people are just always talking about themselves.
It's pretty
and their
toxic
problems.
too, if you think about it.
It's very unsettling to my soul. So I would say that's the number one thing is that we can have this like two-way banter of like being able to talk about whatever's going on, and that's from a surface level all the way deep. So the checking in, I think, is people's awareness level. That's really what it is, right?
Do you think, because I think I pride us, and I don't know, I mean, it might be like the know-it-all aspect of me, but I pride us as a group, as a group, or family, or as sisters, to be pretty good in the first impression of people,
I would say.
Situation. I mean, not always, but
yeah.
Going back to what you just said, do you think that you could figure that out as a first impression, or do you need to like kind of hang out with this person? To kind of figure that out? Because checking in is obviously like, okay, we've hung out a little bit, or could you tell by having a conversation with somebody that they're kind of all about?
Well, I can tell the two-way street thing almost immediately.
Okay.
Within the first I would say
not everybody can
30 minutes of meeting someone. I can, and not that I'm like testing them or looking for it, but you can just tell if someone's like has that equal interest in letting you speak or even listening and not speaking, right? Everyone has such a hard time these days not speaking. And we're just talking about the aspect of listening and how important that is, but it's not easy for everybody to do.
No.
And a lot of people just have to blow off steam, and they just blah 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 blah, which is okay, but you have to have an awareness level at some point that you have to stop and ask the other person how they are. And so I can tell that pretty quickly from meeting someone. And again, I'm not like evaluating, or maybe I am. No, I'm not. But
that's a lady do.
As a lady does, I can tell very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like we have such an awareness, and we've talked about this time and time again of our feelings and how we would feel if we did that to somebody else. We'd be like, oh my gosh, I need to shut up. Can you go now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and overly so as at times. I'll speak for myself again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm better now with the judgment of character, for the people that I surround myself with.
Yeah.
Because I can make friends in any room, anytime.
Yeah.
Am I going to keep that friend?
Yeah.
And am I going to keep in contact with that friend?
Sure.
That's a lot less these days than it was.
Yeah. And I think part of it is, like, as you grow, you get to, you have the choice to learn more about yourself and, like, what you need, right? Like, how do people, that's why we befriend people, is they fill in holes within ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Things that we don't have, they have, or they can help fill for us.
Totally.
So getting to know yourself more as you grow older really determines your path of friendship with people, right?
Yeah.
And what you need and what you no longer need, or what feels like, in your words, toxic to you that maybe at some point didn't.
Yeah.
So it all just grows and buds, and it's never a bad thing, and it just is like a beautiful flower that just has lots of different stems.
Speaking of I wanted to talk about spring today, and I was like, wait, dude, is it too early to talk about spring? She was like, kinda.
We still have a
little bit.
Couple of weeks, but we're excited because it's a nice spring day today. It's a little chilly, but it's still springy.
Yeah, but it's supposed to start to get warm out.
I know.
Which is exciting. So next episode, we will talk about the change of
spring
season.
Has sprung.
It might sooner than we think. Because, fun fact, my roommate Anna, she told me that the polar vortex with everything global warming wise, we're going to have the warmest March that we've had in years. So good for the people that are like breaking out of the winter shell. Not great for our environment.
Not great for the planet.
And also get your Zyrtec, get your Benadryl, because those allergies are going to hit pretty hard this year.
They're coming out to play, people. So yeah, I'm glad that... okay, I just found a poop bag of roses in my jean jacket. Don't worry, it's not used.
It is clean.
But I think we should move on to human highlight coming off of our quality of relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I will just start with mine. So whom I was referring to earlier, who we only met a few years ago, but was able to basically like blend with our family so fast and so easily.
First, let me just say that I'm so glad she doesn't think that, I mean, she knows, but I'm so glad she doesn't judge us for being total psychos. Like, I'm so glad that, like, we didn't overly, like, scare her away from us, because she's such a good addition to our family tree, per se.
I don't think we're psychos.
I mean, I know we are, but in, like, a good, like, healthy
You mean,
way?
like, our overall family aspect?
Like a good,
I thought you meant me and you.
No, a good, like, healthy family way, but we're a little crazy.
Yeah, we're just all, like, we have all very... opinionated and intense personalities, and we mesh well together, and like we'll banter sometimes, and that can be like a lot for people. But
so I'm glad we didn't scare her away.
Yeah,
and she's still here.
And her name is Regina, and she is our very good friend. And this is my sister and I were talking about this the other day. Is that she's not only my friend. She's my sister's friend. Mm-hmm. I can, like, she can hang out with my parents if, like, I'm doing something at the house. Like, she was just an addition to the family. Yeah. And I felt really close with her right away. We ended up, you know, we worked together down at the shore together for a summer, and we became close, and we still talk to each other. We don't see each other as often, but, you know, we're trying. So I definitely want to shout her out. She is phenomenal. She's a really hardworking person, you know, in general, with everything that she does, but she also is just a phenomenal human being and a gem of a human being.
She really is.
So she deserves all the kudos and...
Hi, Snaps.
Snaps.
Hi, Snaps.
And all love sent her away, so we'll definitely have to send her this little snippet.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, mine is so random, but, like, and when we started this, we were like, it doesn't have to be, like, your best friends. It can be, but it could also be, like, a random person.
Is it your dog, Rose?
No, but she is. She's not a human, but she is. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm a little nervous about this one every time somebody says
So, the guy, the gentleman... does
my plumber.
My taxes.
Oh, yeah. No, you were just talking about him earlier. Okay, repeat it again. We were laughing. Go.
The gentleman who does my taxes. I, like, found him at an H&R Block, guys.
Tax season.
Literally 3 years ago. Locally. And we just, like, hit it off. He's an older gentleman. He's probably around my parents' age. But he was very, again, like that two-way conversation.
Yeah, you just found out.
But it was really genuine, right? It wasn't in like a kind of like, you know, when you have business relationships, you kind of have the back and
subject,
forth,
you know, not something
forced banter. It was really nice. And I got to know about his family. He got to know about my family. And, you know, every time that we talk this time of year, we're always just, like, remembering nice things to ask about each other's families, and the little things really count.
It developed a friendship, which
and,
is
like,
kind of
cool. I don't, like, cringe at doing my taxes, because he's, like, so quick, he's so easy to work with, and I just feel like an experience that a lot of people hate and, like, cringe at.
Is taxes.
Yeah. And I don't feel that way because of this human relationship that I've, you know, gotten with this gentleman. So I want to give him kudos for making
that's a good one.
That's always an uphill battle.
I didn't know
very smooth.
I don't know where that was going, but you did mention him earlier, and I'm not surprised by that because
I was talking about him.
This is not.
Creeper.
No, this is not. You know, you're not like. you might be talking about like somebody that like does your gardening work, like they're a really nice person, like we talk back and forth because I work with them like at my home. Like you're not like, oh, let me go over to my tax guy because we're really good friends. It's not really something that you would think that it would